So let's move on. This is from The Intercept. House Democrats are dodging party policy and privately supporting Marie Newman against Dan Lipinski here in Illinois. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez told the New York Times that she would endorse Marie Newman, the pro-choice woman challenging Illinois Representative Dan Lipinski, one of the few remaining anti-abortion Democrats in Congress. The following day, when asked about her endorsement, House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer told reporters that there's, quote, absolutely room in the Democratic Party for anti-choice lawmakers. Quote, that doesn't mean we're not a pro-choice party. We are. But that doesn't mean that either the speaker or I believe that we ought to exclude people who have a different view. This is, I think, a huge problem with the, quote, big tent party. Like, our big tent shouldn't include corporatists. It shouldn't include people who are anti-choice. It shouldn't include people who are for oil lobbyists or pharmaceutical companies.
Let me ask this way. Let's just take that big category, number of tents you brought up, and let's just crush it down and say, how about we don't have moderate Republicans in the Democratic Party?
Right. So the only people in the House that, so Khanna mentions that Lauren Underwood, also from Illinois, and AOC are among the few to endorse Marie Newman and called on others in the House to also support Marie Newman. So she's only she's within 2.2 points of defeating Lipinski in the 2018 cycle, and she's running again, obviously. This is the kind of endorsement that isn't given easily, right? When you have very progressive people running, your Nancy Pelosi's are not coming out of the woodwork to say, hey, we do need
Not
this.
only that, they're actively blacklisting them.
Right. It's like, why are you protecting Lipinski? This is
And while you're looking that up, what we learned about Lipinski is he got his seat from his father, nepotism, corruption, and his father was a Republican. He's basically just like, what's his name, Joe Manchin. He's just a Republican that happens to be living in the Democratic Party because our tent is so big. It's crazy how the Democratic Party's like, oh, you're basically a Republican in everything but name? Welcome, come on into the party. Oh, you care about your community and you want to fix pipes and not have the water be poisoned. Not who we want. Blacklist them. Don't put them in. They're challenging everything. Not what I want.
You want Medicare for all. You want to have more money spent on social programs. You want to see the common person do well. Wait, you don't want to spend money on war? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And that's what this is. I mean, in Illinois, you almost can't get elected if you're not a Democrat. So if you're a Republican and wants to get elected, you put a D in front of your name, and that's what Dan Lipinski did. He's anti-choice, anti-ACA, anti-LGBTQ equality. This is not a Democrat. This is not a left-leaning person. This isn't even a center-left person. This isn't even a neo-lib. This is just a straight-up Republican.
Yeah, and I think that on top of that, so you talked about the last election, how close she was. Remember when we watched that? Remember she was leading, and then all of a sudden, all the computers went out, and then she was losing. It was like, oh, what happened? Oh, well, all the math went away.
Well, the computer says.
Yeah, so that's one thing. A second thing is that this election, she needs more help because it's not just her and Dan Lipinski. There's another person coming in who we did interview. You should check that interview out. I forget his name. But he is running for because of course, Illinois, heavily gerrymandered. There's this one part of the 3rd District. Fun fact, Kit lives in the 3rd District, I think. Fun fact. Fun opinion if it's not a fact. And there's a part of that district that has a lot of Muslim and Arab. It's like a spot. He's basically taken that area and has a lot of support there. And if he holds that down, she probably won't have the momentum to win because they've split the vote. So that's interesting.
This is one of those things that is very much an Illinois politics thing, but explodes onto the national stage, right? I mean, it's not really an Illinois politics thing. We are talking about members of the House, but this is who
Illinois does it best.
This is who we're voting for, and this is the way our party politics run, and it's crazy. And it's amazing to me that not only is it Illinois politics that's so backwards that we have Republicans running with D's in front of their name and get away with it and nobody seems to know the difference, but that on the national level that's supported. On the national level, it takes someone like Khanna to say, guys, what are you doing? Why are we supporting this guy who is antithetical to the positions in our party platform?
But Paul, don't you remember that one person that I can't remember that I think was working in the circuit for MSN said he's racist and we shouldn't listen to him because of that?
Said that Dan Lipinski was racist?
No, of course not. He's a good, upstanding citizen. Said Khanna was racist.
Oh, said Khanna
Yeah.
was racist? Because
Reasons. Of course. Strong reasons. Remember.
Reasons.
And if you vote for Bernie Sanders, you're also a sexist, even though most of his base is female, and he's the only candidate that doesn't have a majority white coalition. But that facts don't matter.
just
It's
like
about
all
what
of
we feel.
those sexist Jill Stein supporters.
Yeah.
Man, I kind of wanted to talk about, maybe we'll cover it another time, but that, what was it, Neera Tannen's assistant on the show is basically saying if you're a Sanders supporter now that you see Elizabeth Warren surging in the polls, it means you're sexist.
Yeah, it's like, it was like the Madame Albright, whatever that quote was from the last election. But it was really funny. Jimmy Dore pointed out this, I believe, that if you look in her title, they really don't tell you who she is. She was a former advisor to Clinton, and she also just so happens, I don't know if it's relevant, maybe, I don't know, she's ready to inherit about $1.1 billion that would be severely taxed if Bernie Sanders was president. I'm sure it has nothing to do with that. I'm sure it just happens to be a coinky-dink. But if you vote for Bernie Sanders, even though Bernie Sanders has majority female support and Elizabeth Warren has majority male support, you're a sexist. As we know, it doesn't matter what the facts are. It's how you feel about them, especially about your pocketbook.
Truthiness, right? Truthiness.
There you go. Yeah.